Hello and welcome to the Empowerment Series. Today, I want us to talk about the future of children with special needs. Many parents that are raising children with special needs usually feel depressed, feel frustrated, and are unsure of the future of their children. Many think that if the child is not behaving normal, in quotes, like everybody, then it means that the child doesn't have a bright future. But as a Christian, I want to tell you something. The future of children with special needs depends on God. It's in the hands of God. The Bible says, I know the plans that I have for you. They are plans of good and not of evil, to bring you to an expected end. The future of your child who has cerebral palsy, who has Down syndrome, who has autism, who has any form of disability, it's in the hands of God and not man. Sometimes we worry. We worry about, so what will happen in the next 5 years? What if I'm not there? So what will happen to my child in the next 10 years? And we think of all the negative things that we think can happen to our children. But my dear parents, future belongs to God. The future of both children who are regular, typical, normal in quote, and the future of children with special needs all depends on God. Someone told me a story the other day of a child who has cerebral palsy, now a young man, who could only move the eye, but could use the eye to report and this is in the developed country, to report the bus driver. Eventually, an organization employed this person, and his job was to observe. So he observes everything that goes in the organization and reports, and using the eye. And it was so efficient. This person doesn't talk, but was able to use the eye to report something. He became useful. Every human being in this life that God has created and God has allowed to live till this day has a purpose. Every human being that God has created and God has allowed to live till this day lives because God has a plan for that person. And until the plan of God for your child with special needs come to pass, my dear parent, have hope. Work in tandem with God to see the plan that God has for your life and for that of your child come to pass. I do not allow negative emotions to fill me about my daughter's future. I have a daughter with cerebral palsy. There are times people either out of genuine concern or whatever will say, oh, so how do you see the future of your child in say 5 years or in 10 years? Or when you say that, I only say one thing: the future of my life and of that of my daughter depends on God. My daughter's future is in the hands of God. When you are nurturing a child with special need, you learn to live one day at a time. One day at a time. You learn to make the most of every day and every opportunity that you have for your child. You learn to give your best. You learn to live with gratitude. Gratitude for the fact that you are alive and kicking. That God gave you a child who has special need, and that child also live every single day that you see yourself alive. Let us not bother too much about the fact that, oh, if the child does not go to school, or if, yes, we need them included in society. It is as we explore their potentials in society that we could get the wow factor